Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhandatamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Miti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai. We didn't finish the chapter. Again, I lost where the page is. Did we read about the sleeping man experiencing nightmare?
Yes, Mataji, the Narada said that the pain is real. Like even, yeah, that experience is real.
And this one, the essence of bhakti is to have faith. Should I?
Yeah, we read this. Yeah. Mataji, I don't know if the page before that, I don't know if we read that. I don't think we read this, Mataji.
No, not this one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Mataji, one page before this also, I don't know if we read.
I mean, he's getting to the point here. He's opened up Prachinabarhi, and Prachinabarhi has now faith, and now he's saying about the sacrifices, coming to the point now.
Yes, Mataji.
So he's saying, see, Prachinabarhi is actually very touched. How wonderful that although Narada was famous for always glorifying Krishna, he thinks himself unqualified. Such humility. So you see, first he established as a preaching strategy, right? First establish ourselves in that quality of humility, not like a proud person sitting on the pedestal telling others what to do, but he kind of humbly expresses, Narada expresses, oh yeah, I remember all this, yeah. He's saying now, like, who are the qualified teachers
Yes.
and everything, and yeah, so sweet of Narada. And now he continues, the sage continued. Neither extensive knowledge of the Vedas nor performance of Vedic rituals and sacrifice can help one realize Krishna. Only by complete immersion in Krishna's devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting about him, can you attain his causeless mercy. At such a time, you will realize your relationship with him, being free of all materialistic activities such as performing Vedic rituals. Therefore, my dear King Prachinabarhi, do not foolishly strive for material goals. Do not even waste time performing Vedic sacrifice meant for elevation to heaven. Although they may appear to be in your interest, they are not life's real aim. Prachinabari frowned. Why did my priests and learned sages of my kingdom instruct me to do Vedic rituals? They are less intelligent and think heaven is life's goal, not realizing that even the highest material planet is temporary. They do not understand that the Vedas actually propose what they do not understand that the Vedas actually propose is to get back to Krishna's eternal spiritual planet, our real home. Instructed by such ignorant people, you have become foolishly proud of your ritual sacrifice. Although you have covered the earth with kusha grass, with the tips facing east, and slaughtered innumerable animals, you do not know how to please Krishna. Any activity not pleasing to Krishna is sinful, and any knowledge which does not help you understand Krishna is ignorance. See, this is a very, very direct answer to his concern when he saw Prachinabari getting lost in his ways. And, there is that verse in Bhagavatam, Sam Siddhir Haritoshanam, Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. So whatever even if we perform Varnashram Dharma, we do everything beautifully and we do everything perfectly. If it's not meant to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's just a useless waste of time. So this is the point of Narad Muni here. We may see so many of our relatives or some friends or materialistically appearing to be progressing materialistically, but without the knowledge. Somebody was telling me, who was telling me the other day, how in America, old people are all tucked away. In America, you don't see. Who was telling me that? One of you were telling me, I think. In America, they don't show like old people and all are not walking around. America is such a culture of hiding or like putting away the old in the um, old age home or in hospitals, that you don't see many old people around. And so it's like a culture of denial. You don't see the reality. In India is a little bit different. In India, we see slums, we see very poor people begging in the streets. All these widows are thrown out from their homes and they become beggars and sit around outside. So we do see like old people around. But America doesn't have that culture somehow. So that's so true, right? So what happens when we don't see harsh realities, when we don't have realistic pessimism, then we are in denial. We're in denial about the goal of life. We're in denial. As a society, we become ignorant of what's the purpose, what's the goal, and then we get lost in our own little fantasy world. Perfect. And then we run after, like that little donkey running after that carrot which is hanging in front of it. We keep running after false goals and false hopes and false fantasies, never, never to be fulfilled. And see how much Narad Muni had to prepare Prachina Barhi to get to this point. Sometimes we're impatient in preaching. We need a lot of patience to make friends with the people, and to see Narad Muni has showed to Prachina Barhi that he really cares about him. He's not just coming there, and he showed his genuine, authentic, well-wishing mood. He's not just coming there. I mean, we all like to be cared and given advice, but there's a way of giving advice and there's a way of giving advice. Sometimes people give us advice in very mode of passion. They may tell us, "Hey, why you didn't do this fasting? Oh, why I'm doing this? Why you're not doing this?" Like they could put us like a little bit in a pressure position of making us feel that we are inferior because we're not doing what they are doing. Recent class, Nitya Kishori was speaking about sometimes some people may be doing very good sadhana themselves, but they may not be advanced devotees. They may be so neophyte that they look down upon everybody who's not doing all the sadhana things that they are doing. But that kind of enthusiasm is not like, it doesn't help us in progress because we don't know. Somebody may not be doing that kind of external sadhana, but they may have more love for Krishna. This is a bhakti yoga, right? It's not sadhana yoga. Yes, sadhana bhakti is important. At the same time, we cannot be the judge. And here, Prachina Barhi is being prepared. Yesterday, we had a meeting, and one of the Matajis was sharing. I mean, we were not many people, but um, somebody was sharing about there's a young person who joined and they had a bad experience in the community, in the devotional realm, and they were new to Krishna consciousness. And then after this experience, they stopped coming to Krishna. They stopped coming to temple. So and then this Mataji was very concerned what to do. I don't know how to bring this person back. I had some bad experience. So sometimes as a movement, in some places we are a little bit too harsh. Hey, you should do that, you should do this, this is what needs to be done. We are a little pushy. And then people run away, people become upset, people feel judged. I remember also in Rome, center of Maya and everything. There's a nice family, husband, wife, and a child. And they came to Krishna consciousness, knew they were. And then we had a program in their home. Me and my husband went to give a class and everything. And but the people who were trying to preach to them, they started becoming heavier and harsher. And then it was a child's birthday or something. A child wanted to go out and eat pizza or cake, and they wanted to do some birthday party. And somehow they were so fanatic. They started criticizing this family. You shouldn't do that with your kid. You shouldn't do this with your kid. You should be like this. You should. And then at one point, it just one thing, okay, another thing, okay, another thing. But then they got so frustrated, so like upset and like disgusted with Hare Krishna rituals and rules and this and that they just left Krishna consciousness. And they wrote us like a while later that we can't do all your things. It's just not life for us. This is not normal. It's a cult. You guys are cult. You're not like actually helping us to become spiritually better. You're just like a cult who is having very very fanatic ideas, and you're trying to impose those things upon our life. And I'm sorry, we're not. I mean, these people were highly intelligent, qualified people. One was when he had a PhD, he was working in the university teaching, and then the lady also had like I can't remember what she was, but very educated, studying archaeology like that. And then they were open. I remember them very open. But then I also saw how the devotees, no, what was it? Can't remember all the silly um, preachings that they did. It's like, shouldn't do that, and you shouldn't do this with the kid. You shouldn't take the kid out. You shouldn't. And then they started becoming judgmental. If you do that, you're going to go to hell, and you're not advanced spiritually, and all kinds of nonsense, like a lot of nonsense. An ignorant way of preaching Krishna consciousness. So I think it's very. This chapter has been so powerful for me to see how first we need to become vulnerable and help people not use their vulnerability to hit on them, but to actually support them and to prove to them that we really care about them and be there. Being there is the best preaching. When they want to know, we give them information. See how many times actually Prachinabhari asked Narad Muni, but Prachinabhari prepared him with this whole puranjana thing, so much effort. And then obviously he's a genuine teacher, right? So anyway, we should be very, very careful how we preach Krishna consciousness, how we share about. Um, I recently also had some experience of guru groupism type of things. People like, oh, what are you doing in this yatra? This is not your Guru Maharaj. Somebody else also like, hey, why are you going to that Maharaj yatra? He's not your Guru Maharaj. I was like incredulous because I never even considered something like that. So we must become aware of our fanatic cultish preaching, and remember how even Krishna was so kind to Arjuna with Gita, how Narad Muni again and again and again and again we see him being so careful, so diplomatic. Any points anybody wants to share? This is very crucial for our progress, because we can't advance unless we give Krishna consciousness to others. But if we try to give Krishna consciousness in the mode of ignorance, we burn people out. You're eating meat, you will not progress, or whatever. Sometimes like, wow, okay, meat eating, but they'll give up, but give them friendship. They'll give up.
I think, Mataji, there is pride in the heart. That's why we start judging others and we think our way is the best way. So that's why we do disservice of instead of connecting people to Krishna, we are disconnecting people to Krishna and saying so many nonsense things and all.
Absolutely. I wrote one book, actually, it's called Awaken Your Spiritual Destiny. And also, Radhanath Maharaj gave review to that book. In that book, I speak about how we are not like, we don't have trademark for Hare Krishna Maha Mantra or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. It is meant to spread. It is spreading. Have you seen how many people are chanting? You go to YouTube and put Hare Krishna Mantra. We don't even have any more copyrights or something. There's so many other people chanting the Mahamantra. And there's so many yoga groups becoming so aware, so spiritual. Sometimes we think that, we have copyright of Mahaprabhu's movement or Hare Krishna. As you said, no, there's an element of pride. We live in this little well, and we think that this well is the ocean, and we have no idea about the ocean. So we have no idea about the capacity of how much Mahaprabhu's movement can spread and enlighten people. And then I think there's also an element, definitely that's passion, right? Pride is passion. But I think there's also ignorance, which means insecurity. Like, I don't have faith in me, my choices in life, my intelligence. I doubt my intelligence, but I'm not going to say it out loud, right? Hey, I don't know if I chose the right thing or not. So what I do to compensate my insecurities, then I just go around saying, hey, what I have chosen is the best. Everything else is nonsense, because it's a sense of deep insecurity. I myself don't believe in what path I'm following or whatever, but then I cannot admit that. So I go around compensating for the lack of security that I have in the chosen path and go crazy, you know. And then, we think like, oh, whatever it is, like we own this philosophy or something like that. Actually, if we only own this philosophy, we would be like Narad Muni. The problem is we haven't owned it. So we are only trying to convince ourselves that this is the best. Sometimes we're telling somebody else, hey, you should become very serious in Krishna consciousness, very serious. This is essentially we are telling that to ourselves because we don't have conviction or something like that. That's another thing I've observed.
Yeah, I
Pride.
like this point, Mataji, that we are projecting our own insecurity on our immaturity on others, and actually we are convincing ourselves. So yeah, I really love this point.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen that many times. Like some people, and the way they'll talk about their guru, they'll go on and on and on trying to prove that their guru is bigger and greater and more pure or whatever. And I only feel compassion for those people because I feel like, who are you trying to prove to? For what purpose? Because they feel insecure, they feel nothing, right? So they want to feel great, because they want to use their guru's name to feel great. So they are kind of using that for covering up their insecurities or something. Mm. So there is so much tamas guna and rajas guna even within how we practice Krishna consciousness. We can hurt ourselves, no? I mean, Nitya Kishore, your class was excellent for this kind of points about when we preach. You spoke also about that. Mm.
Thank you,
Mm.
Mataji, for your kind words.
No, it was very relevant. It's happening. It happens to us in everyday life. We have these demons attacking us, pride and false ego and sense of entitlement, right? Yeah, I am this and I am that. And it's, what have we? Nothing, just a blip in the whole existence of this world. Sometimes we think we are so important, what people are thinking about me and me and me and me. Nobody cares, everybody has their own problems. Nobody's looking how we are. Mm. Okay, where did I stop? Ignorance. Yeah. Nitya Kishori, would you like to read a little bit?
Okay,
Krishna is
just
the
a
super
second.
soul.
Krishna is the super soul and guide of all embodied beings. He controls material nature and is our best friend. Everyone should seek his shelter and thereby make their life auspicious. A person engaged in Krishna's devotional service has not the least fear because he knows Krishna as the super soul is everyone's friend. One who knows this secret is actually learner and can become the spiritual master of the whole world. Consulting such a genuine teacher is as good as directly contacting Krishna.
Mm.
Rachina Bhari nodded. The time had come to act. Clearly, none of his court advisors were Krishna's pure devotees. he would have to retire and seek out such a person. If he sent messengers out at once to recall his sons.
Okay, we'll pause there. I was also thinking, see, the example of Prachina Barhi is one very nice example, right? How he's taking it up, he's wise. And I'm thinking of the opposite example, say, of Kamsa or Hiranyakashipu or Duryodhana. Duryodhana was so adamant, right? That actually Duryodhana is an example of insecurity personified. Even in that verse, first chapter, when he says, Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Samitinjaya Ashwatthama. No, not that one. Which one is that? Balam Bhishmabhirakshitam. And he says, Paryaptam Tidame Tesham Balam Bhishmabhirakshitam. Paryaptam अपर्याप्तम तदस्माकं बलं भीष्माभिरक्षितं पर्याप्तं त्विदमे तेषं बलं भीमाभिरक्षितं. So Duryodhana's insecurity, in this level, he's saying, oh, this that means the Kauravas are protected by Bhishma, whose strength is sufficient. Right, the word sufficient comes paryaptam and aparyaptam, right? And then he says Bhima, it's a strength which is not sufficient, he says. But actually our acharyas explain that what Duryodhana is actually saying in this word sufficient and insufficient is that when it says sufficient, it means it's limited, and when it says insufficient, it means unlimited. So essentially he's declaring that Bhima's strength is unlimited and Bhishma's strength is limited. So, this Duryodhan had that extreme insecurity. He kept on and on and on trying to use his everybody, trying to use everybody, right? He said, all these people have come down here to give up their lives for my sake. He thought that all these great people, Bhishma and Drona and Karna, they're all here. Anyecha Bhava Shura Madarte Tekta Jivitaha. Me, right? My sake, Madarte, for my sake, they're all gonna die. He's predicting already there. They're all come here to give up their lives for my sake. And then, everything is based on insecurity here. And he goes on and on and on, using all his strength to waste it. But here, Prachinabar, he is coming to the senses so quickly. Even Arjuna, right? He comes to the senses. But some demoniac mentality, Duryodhana and all, we don't give up. So going back to Nitya Kishori's class, I was thinking, after we hear the class, or even when we are sometimes given a mirror in life of our anarthas, we either act in denial. We don't want to. I saw, like, when women get together, my God, yeah, they get into so much gossip. Hey, you saw that lady, you saw how she's wearing this, and you know what she's doing. Oh, why is this person doing? What is they doing this in this yatra? It's not their Guru Maharaj. I tell you, yeah, she's really get into this and that. And what whole lunch talking about completely irrelevant something stuff. And I was looking at my friend, is like, so sad of this lady. And then she told me it's a way of denial. She doesn't want to face the fact of what is really going on in her heart, whatever it is that is coming up for her, and she didn't want to deal with it. So she went on, like, camouflaging her insecurities by praising her child and praising her husband. And it was little too much, it was getting a little bit annoying. And I'm just thinking, everybody are put in Prachina Bari's position at one point or another, either by our Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru, or by our children, by our husband, by our neighbors. At some point, there will be the trigger. But when we look in the mirror, how do we first of all admit, accept? There is this jealousy here. Oh my God, there is this pride here. Why am I looking down upon this person? Why am I doing that? Why am I doing this? Are we questioning? Are we bringing those to Krishna? Are we being honest? Or are we just superficially trying to ignore it, deny it, put it aside, put it under the carpet, right? Put it under the carpet and then deny, ignore. So Nitya Kishore, I was thinking you should make one more slide dealing with our anarthas, and specifically, in each one when the way you spoke, like laziness. How do we deal with that laziness? We can deal with that laziness in Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun, right? In Tamagun, we can deal with that laziness, defending and giving excuses. And then in passion, we can say, oh, how everybody is just unintelligent, working too hard, and I'm very lazy intelligent. That's why I'm like this. No passion, thinking that I'm doing the right thing. And then in the mode of goodness, we recognize that, oh, I have this thing. Yesterday I was so enthusiastic. Today I'm actually so down. I think I'm experiencing this anartha of being unstable, unsteady in my sadhana bhakti. What can I do to improve? How can I be vulnerable and ask help about this? And in a balanced way, like that. I think there is like sattvagun, rajagun, tamagun of dealing it, because it's not easy when we discover our anarthas to face
Yeah.
it.
Yes,
It becomes
Mataji.
overwhelming. It becomes oof, scary. We may hate ourselves for all the anarthas that we may actually be carrying. It's much easier to be in denial. And so, but whenever it comes up, we can hand it over to Krishna and take support of friends, and uplift our sense of self, so that we can, because those weaknesses are not us, right? These are just like the conditionings. These are conditionings. Anyway, I thought you should add this slide, giving, because you were very good in giving examples. You unpacked very nicely. You churned you gave very good examples. And so I was thinking if you could have this, like, okay, when you recognize how you will deal with it. In tamas guna, you'll deal like this. In rajas guna, this is what will happen. And in sattva guna, this is what you can do.
Yeah, it's a very valid and good point, Mataji. I heard all these things, so I was able to relate to it. So yeah, then I was able to share it.
No, it was very good. I like the way you
Yeah.
unpacked. Yeah,
Thank you,
so
Mataji.
today's we can. I see a comment. Rajeshwari Radhika Mataji says, I don't know, it was like a while ago, but everyone need his or her own space to flourish. Our duty to provide suitable environment or supportive environment. So true. Can give love and connection to Krishna. Yeah, it's similar to parenting, right? If you push your children too much, they'll hate you. Okay. So yeah, today's talk, these two important points, that people need friendship, then they'll come to. Even I didn't come to Krishna consciousness because of philosophy. I came for friendship and because of love and everything. And naturally, the rest will follow. Nobody actually chooses come to Krishna consciousness because of the amazing philosophy. We all come because we have good friends, and we're taken care and we are loved. And that was one point. And the other point is about anarthas. When we discover these anarthas, do we wear masks and go around in denial, or do we face it step by step? We can't face everything head on. Sometimes it's hard, one by one thing at a time. Like we do our Gita, one anartha for lunar cycle. Actually, it works. If you want to change a habit and you do it for one lunar cycle, that habit will become strengthened, and then you'll be able to stick to it. Yeah, that's why we have this outreach group. I recommend. Sometimes people just write me individually. They don't write in the group for outreach call. They write to me. Can I have outreach? So I'm regularly having outreach. Every day I'm outreaching with somebody, but we're not doing it in a group as a sangha. We're not able to. I'm not able to establish that somehow. I can't do that alone. You need to help with that. All this, see, all this, after all this discussion, we can see life differently. Be there for each other. So we will pause here for today and digest
I'm
these 2
reading,
points.
Mataji, just a minute. I'm reading from our Srimad Bhagavatam, the same content. In the text 32, the living entities are trying to counteract different miserable condition pertaining to provide.
other living entities of the body and mind, still they must have conditioned by the law of nature despite all attempts to counterless these laws. So it's saying the similar things what you're mentioning.
Mm. Where is this from?
Our Bhagavatam,
Uh,
the
where?
same chapter, because I missed some of the things, so I thought that let me
Yeah.
go through. So it's mentioning in our, like the previous verses also it is mentioning. It's
Yes.
really relevant. This chapter actually, initially when you started, I was thinking like I should not miss, but somehow it got missed. But it's really wonderful chapter to to analyze our individual life and personalities, and how even the person we can understand the personality of different people.
True. True. Absolutely. No, that's very true. Jai. Okay, so we can pause for here for today, and then we'll continue tomorrow the reading. And Rasastali Mataji, would you like to guide us into affirmation to get our mood ready